The poet Bertolt Brecht once said, "Art is not a mirror to hold up to society, but a hammer with which to shape it." I've always believed that artists have the power to inspire change. Fashion, especially, can be used as a platform to send a message and spark a political or social or even environmental movement. Everybody makes a choice that affects the environment when they buy their clothing, whether it's conscious or not. I am new school because I'm inspired by sustainability. When I was 8, I started making bags and purses out of old clothes that I would get from relatives or the Goodwill store, and I went around and I sold them at local craft shows. And since then, I've just always tried to combine design with my interest in preserving the environment. The fashion industry has often been accused of promoting excess items that are harmful to the environment and will just end up in a landfill. But I think that we can use clothes as an instrument of power instead and use them to reach out to society and change the way that we think about clothing. And that's really what I want to do. I want to change the way we think about clothing. I'm inspired by nature, and I get a lot of my ideas from pictures in National Geographic magazines. I just find that the most amazing patterns and color combinations come from nature, so I usually have to make my own textiles. But Parsons is the perfect place for me to explore new textiles that don't involve chemicals that destroy the ecosystems or contaminate freshwater supplies. I mean, looking at the first year Sustainable Systems course, which fuses design and science, I can't think of a better course to take my designs and concepts to the next level. As artists, we have a huge responsibility to change the future, and in terms of fashion, we need to minimize the environmental impact. I'm so ready for new school, and I'm ready to be pushed, not just technically, but mentally and creatively. I think that's what separates Parsons from every other school that I've looked at. They give you the tools, but ultimately it's up to you to create your identity. It's also in the center of New York City, which, I mean, is essentially a cultural carnival. And for me, designing is not a hobby. It's really a part of who I am. When I was 10, I started sewing and pattern making classes in Toronto, which was an hour away from my house. And I literally had to beg my mom to take me. But she agreed, so for the next several years, we spent every single Saturday in the city, and I took classes at sewing techniques and pattern drafting. And in grade 11, I did my first internship at a fashion design studio in the city. And interning was an amazing way to learn about design and the industry itself, and I love the fact that Parsons is committed to helping its students find internships. Most of the clothing I make requires a large attention to detail and explores new techniques and textile creations, but New School welcomes innovation and experimentation, and that's why I want to go to Parsons. I am New School because I will never accept ordinary. Earlier this year, I started as a freshman at Western University, and it's a traditional university. I'm currently studying French and art history, and it's just not the right fit. I'm not focusing on design or fashion or art. I found that a conventional education is not for me, but I visited Parsons and I know it's where I need to be, but I can't go without a scholarship, which is really the reason I couldn't apply last year. The cost is too high for my family. I am New School because I want to be a leader in the new fashion industry, which creates a sustainable legacy, not a chemical one. Right now, half of the world's population is under 25. That means that our generation has an amazing opportunity to change our cultural norms. We have the power to protect our environment, and I want to combine art, fashion, and politics and be a part of these changes. I'm done with the old and ready for the new. I am Bethany Greer, and I am New School.
Think of the tender things that we were working on.